Hi, we are going into our first portrait and it looks like we're just going to do a local color background, and I'm putting the reference up there so I can kind of match what my local color background is going to be. Now I'm checking how light and dark it is by looking at the value scale from white to black and kind of getting an idea of what kind of mixture of gray I want to do. I added a second black here, and I think this is where my first mistake happens. I noticed that in the image of looking at my value scale, it appeared to be like just slightly blue. So I thought maybe I should use a carbon black instead of the Mars black. I originally was going to do Mars black to limit the amount of blue in my grayscale. But then I realized that there is a little bit of blue in it anyhow. And the reason why I wanted to limit blue is because when I'm looking at my local color, it has more of a warmer feel to it. So I was thinking if I'm using the Cad Red Light, which is already a warm red, then I wouldn't want to make it more cool, you know? So I went back and forth. I ended up doing a little bit of Mars black and a little bit of carbon black. And in my personal opinion, I think this is where I first started to run into problems, because by adding more black, and then, okay, we add matte medium, but by adding more black, I'm really darkening my, my background. And I know it doesn't appear to be very dark right now, but that doesn't appear to be dark because I added that transparent matte medium. So it's kind of like, you know, making the color that I just made a little bit more transparent. But what I should have done, if I could go back in time, is actually try to match the local color for the lightest value, because I know for a fact that I'm going to be going darker anyhow. So it would be easier for me to go darker than to try to pull out as many lights as I can to kind of see what I'm doing. Another thing that I probably would have done differently with this painting is, since the background was darker than I anticipated, I probably should have used a white transfer paper instead of a regular graphite transfer paper here. When you'll see when I'm done making this transfer that it's very dark. It's hard to see the information that I put down by doing the transfer because graphite is pretty dark. If I would have gone with a white transfer paper, it would have been much easier for me to see what I am doing, which could be another reason that I ran into problems, but there's a lot, so I'll walk you through all of it. And this part is pretty straightforward. It's just laying out the transfer as I normally do, so I will let you just sit back and watch this. Okay, so we're coming up to the teeth right now, And I'm outlining the lips at the moment, and this is probably going to be an area that you're interested in knowing about. I'm not adding in for the upper lip line before we get to the teeth. I'm not adding in everything for his mustache because it's such a broad value. It's like a darker value that we can just paint across that and get the values in, and then later if we wanted to add like a few whiskers or whatever, we can add that at the very end. As far as teeth go, I think it's a little bit tricky because you don't want the teeth to look like they're outlined in black. And even though I'm outlining the teeth at the moment, it's mainly for information. You can see that I outlined the top teeth because they are distinct. Now at the bottom, I'm still adding the lines in between, but that is only to give me information about how to shade it, not to add a line in and say I'm done with the teeth. Otherwise it looks like the person has like food stuck in their teeth or something. So by adding the lines in for this transfer, don't think that means that that's how we're going to paint it in. This is strictly giving us information later to figure out how we would shape it, how we'd create the structure of each individual tooth, and without having to add lines in between to say that those are teeth. As you notice too, for the beard, I haven't laid in any information for the same reason that I mentioned with the upper lip mustache, and that is because we just mainly want to get in what the shades and the shadows are. And as you can see here, I added the detail underneath of like how far the hair goes down, but that is about it. Now, can you see what I'm talking about at the moment? I'm just going to spray it. You can see the transfer better, but it is still hard to see all the information. So if you're doing something similar with your own painting, I would highly recommend getting white transfer paper, and that will help you with your drawing process and your painting process.